Hi everyone, Pastor Jonathan here. I thought since it's such a beautiful day, we'd take the video outside today. This is my front yard. Isn't it beautiful, this red tree and all the bounty of God's hand and His work in creation that surrounds us this time of year? But let me ask you, how's everyone doing? Is this exercise and social distancing getting a little excruciating right about now? Some of you watching this video might have been trying to social distance for about the last 3 weeks, and some of you maybe even longer than that. Wake County schools have been closed since March 16th. That's no doubt getting hard for kids, for teachers, and for moms and dads everywhere. It's been exactly 1 month since we've been able to worship all together and in person at our church. We've all heard about giving up something for Lent, giving up that extra cup of coffee, or giving up social media for 6 weeks or so out of the year is nothing when compared to what we're being asked to give up in this season of our lives. We've come to count on and look forward to gathering with family and friends, enjoying a night out at a movie or at a dinner with a special someone, dropping in on our neighbors, comforting others at a funeral, celebrating with our friends at a wedding. And then there are those among us who have lost livelihoods. They're the first responders and the medical personnel among us who wonder if their work is perhaps impacting their health. Maybe somebody watching this right now is worried and anxious about whether someone they love who has a fever only has the flu or something else. The usual giving up stuff for Lent at least has a beginning and an end. Where this will end, nobody knows. It's hard to stay positive when so much around us seems to be going on a kind of downward spiral, and we don't know how long it'll last. It's hard to do the right thing and stay at home like we're told to do without, complaining. Yeah, we ought to be grateful for a cozy home and the chance to purchase the food that we need. Yeah, we should be happy that the internet signal is strong, that the flowers are blooming, and that toilet paper was available at the dollar store this morning at 8 o'clock, although only one per customer. But let's face it, this is a lot of change. It's a lot to deal with. It's okay not to be happy about it. And you know what? Not many people realize it, but in the Christian faith, it's actually okay to complain. It's okay to let loose a little bit. It's okay to cry out to anyone who will listen, and better yet, to do it together. To do so especially in front of the God that we know wants to hear our prayer and wants to hear what's on our heart. And you know what? We find people in the Psalms who are doing that all the time. Listen to just some of the Psalms that I found where people were having a hard time staying positive. Psalm 6. My soul is in deep anguish. How long, O Lord? How long? Or this in Psalm 10. Why, O Lord, do you stand far away? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? Or this in Psalm 13. How long, Lord? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? I remember several years back being at an event hosted here in the United States for Christian educators from all around. There's a guy I met whose country had just gone through a major disaster. Everyone was wondering how many people had died, how folks were coping there, and what any of us could do to help. But even before the conference came to a close, the word came that someone in this man's church body, a pastor who was a prominent leader, had just been killed in a robbery attempt at his own home. Circumstances like that could only add insult to injury. The gentleman in our gathering was a good man. He didn't want to draw attention to himself. And so rather than complain, as he had every right to do, rather than shake his fist at God and say, why are you allowing this to happen, God? He simply shared his grief with us. He simply demonstrated to us the honesty of his feelings. And in doing so, he gave us the privilege of sharing them with him and taking them together in front of our God who hears our prayer with the words, "Lord, have mercy." In that moment, we didn't try to fix anything. We didn't try to get anything sorted out. We couldn't have. We just offered up a prayer of mercy to God. And in that moment, we invited God to heal our hearts together. All of this emphasis on being honest about our frustrations and our fears, as permissible as it may indeed be for people of faith, would have little going for it were it not that God is with us in our times of challenge and trial. And you know what? The scriptures even reveal that God's own heart would break. When God's patience was about to run out over the faithlessness of Israel in the Old Testament, a people whose behavior bitterly disappointed him time and time again, God too cried out, "My people are bent on turning away from me. But how can I give you up, O Ephraim? How can I hand you over, O Israel?" This week, Holy Week, we call to mind the most famous divine lament of all, the Son of God, who as he hung on the cross, cried out the words of Psalm 22, carrying the weight of the world's sin upon himself. My God, why have you forsaken me?" Even Jesus asked the why question and never got an answer. Christian scholar N.T. Wright, in a recent Time magazine article, wrote this: "As the Spirit laments within us, so we become, even in our self-isolation, small shrines where the presence and healing love of God can dwell. And out of that, there can emerge new possibilities, new acts of kindness, new scientific understanding, and new hope." New hope. Why don't we listen to those around us and see where there might be places where together we can simply offer up an honest prayer, "Lord, have mercy." And knowing the God who loves us and holds us in his hands is the same God as the one who hung on the cross and cried out with the same heartbreak that we do too. Together, we can share our feelings with one another and trust that God is already at work to heal our hearts. He's with us in the midst of this crisis. He's with us in all of our trials. And he's here to be with us to make us stronger by them. And then when that day comes when we can open our eyes and see the beauty of the natural world and hear the birds sing and put our hands in that lush green grass and simply enjoy it all, he'll be there too. May God grant you his peace, his joy, and his forgiveness to be the person that you are and to listen to the voices that need to be listened to around you as you seek his mercy again with your community of faith today and all week long.